Back in 2017, I'd ventured forth into the world of fixed wing, and a gentleman who's very dear to my heart had said to me as I was flying my Micro Sky Hunter repeatedly into the ground, I needed something bigger. So, come to July, and post eBay shopping and £40, a 1.8 metre second-hand glider turned up. And this is the story of that fateful purchase. After unpacking the box, all the expected bits appeared to be there. I knew the canopy was missing. And at first glance, as you can see, it doesn't look too bad, apart from if you look at the right wing, has some massive ripples in it towards the end. We'll come back to that at a future point. A quick look around the rest of the model revealed we might have a problem with the rudder, to say the least, and that the front end needed a bit of work just to make it structurally sound. Given the issues and the fact it was a fiberglass fuselage, I decided it's probably best to take it back to fiberglass and to see what we found. And this is some of its, shall we say, colourful history. As I got down to the surface of the fiberglass, more and more of the past damage to the airframe became apparent. The tail appeared to have been separated totally at some point, and that's something else we'll come back to in the future. Once I'd got down through all the paint over fibre, we could see that there was quite a bit of damage already around the cockpit area at the front, with some repairs in the past. Seam lines weren't particularly good, and quite a lot of dings. The tail was reattached at some point with industrial weight of filler. Sanded that down as much as I could to reduce the weight and get some sort of shape, and hadn't worked on the rudder refitment. Around the front, it was really going to be a case of, I think, of or what I did do, I should say, is I re-skimmed around the cockpit and used epoxy resin soaked cotton swabs on the inside to reinforce under the cracks in the fuselage. And to reskim the front of the cockpit, I used a plastic ID card, heated that, started moulding it by hand, slit it, moulded it, cut it, until we got a rough approximation of the shape we wanted. As you can see, once put a little bit of work in, gets it quite close, and the rest of that was sorted out with a bit of filler afterwards. The back and the sides of the cockpit are actually made from DVD cases, I believe, and bonded on along with the front, and that was then smoothed round and filled. Once I was happy with the finish round on the cockpit sides, put a quick servo tray in and gave the whole lot a quick coat of a grey undercoat before moving on to Mark 1 of the canopy, made from a lemonade bottle. By the end of November 2017, I'd got the fuselage primed and sprayed spangly silver and orange, hadn't finished the rudder or the elevator, and I had the canopy made, but while tweaking that with the heat gun, I bubbled it and started on version 2, which I made black, and I actually prefer the clear, to be honest with you. The end of 2017 saw me finish off the rudder and the elevator, stripping the solar film off the wings to reveal a rather big ding in the right one, which, despite using filler that was made from unicorn tears, obviously put additional weight on that side, and spraying the wings up for what will be the finished look. Final canopy internals done, and it was left there. I recently dug the Silver Turd out of storage and installed two 9-gram metal geared servos, new servo tray, new pushrod guides, 4 AAA batteries, and to hit the CG marks, guessed at CG marks, about 110 grams of lead in the nose. Also had to put some lead weight on the left wing tip to counteract the filler. Remember, I had to put in the right wing, And then we just waited for a bit of a day to go and throw it in the air. Oh, just like the Silver Turd. She wants to go. And that was it for the day. I'd broken the control horn on the tail, taken some chips out of the wingtips. I hadn't relaminated or solar filmed the wings after painting them. And a couple of more things on the to-do list, but I think the Silver Turd will definitely get another flight, perhaps off a bigger hill, and that may well be its last. And I only say that because of my quality pilot skills. One thing I had noticed, and it was the other thing I mentioned earlier, was the tail. With the wings level, the tail is actually offset and not vertical. So I think when it was repaired by the previous owner, or the one before that, or before that, or before that, I haven't got that quite straight. So the only thing I can really think of there is to cut the tail off and rotate it.